What the fuck were we doing? I look different, by the way. I had to remake all of my models, which was really tedious, but I thought, well, it's time to fix some things about it I didn't like then, isn't it? Since I have to do it anyway. I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. I'm sorry for what my sister said. I don't remember what she said. Oh, right, of course, yes, of course. We were forging evidence, I remember now. I didn't know. I never knew the SL9 incident was just another name for the Joe Dark killing. The Joe Dark killings. Sounds like everyone's heard about these killings but me. You are stupid. What was it we had to explain to you? How how DNA works? Lana wanted Drake convicted so badly. That's why she used me. That's why she used what happened to me. What do you mean, what happened to you? It's all there in the file. Joe Dark's... Yeah, but I can only see like 4 paragraphs of the file. Joe Dark's last victim was Prosecutor Neil Marshall. When he murdered Officer Marshall's brother, he left behind an incriminating piece of evidence. But what did you have to do with those killings, Emma? On the night Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered, Joe Dark tried to kill me. What? He tried to kill you? Ooh, drama. Officer Marshall's brother, Neil, was only trying to save me. So that means you... Yes. I was a witness in the Joe Dark trial. I didn't see that one coming. Well, let's talk about it, yeah? It happened 2 years ago. It was right about this time of the year, too. There was a terrible thunderstorm that day. Unusual for the season. I was alone in my sister's office. We were planning to eat dinner together once she finished her work. Then suddenly, this terrifying man came bursting into the office. Can you explain to me why the serial killer was in the police station? Why was he there? It seemed like he was running from someone. He pulled out a knife and screamed at me. I didn't know what was going on. Yeah, what was going on exactly that led to... She's like the head prosecutor, right? Why could he just go there? Just then, Prosecutor Marshall showed up. Jake Marshall's brother. Yeah, thank you, Phoenix. Joe Dark tried to take me hostage, but before he could, Mr. Marshall tackled him. Then, what happened? I'll never forget it. Lightning struck and the lights went out. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning flashed outside the window, very dramatic, lighting up the office in an instant. What I saw then, burned a permanent picture into my mind. I can still see it now. A permanent picture. What's going on? It doesn't seem like you should have needed to forge evidence then if this is the situation Joe ended up in, right? Like, can I please get a little bit more of a thorough explanation to this chain of events? What did you see the instant that crime occurred? Why is his hair like this? What's going on with your hair, dude? Holy shit. It looks more like he's got fucking scales. Dark knocked down Mr. Marshall and raised his knife. Neil Marshall was stabbed right in front of this poor girl. I don't remember what happened after that. Apparently I passed out. When I came to, Lana was cradling me in her arms. Poor Emma, you've been through so much. I couldn't bring myself to testify about that incident. I tried, but the words just wouldn't come out. I drew a picture, but it wasn't any good. 2 years ago, you must have been 14. That's understandable. So this is why they forged the evidence? Because you didn't testify? Once it was all over, I made up my mind. I decided that when I grew up, I'd become a scientific investigator. I'm gonna be honest, that's a pretty weird train of events for you to end up at that conclusion. I want to be able to fight crime with my testimonies, and find the evidence to make an airtight case. That way Lana would never have to forge any. I see. I think I'm finally starting to understand what makes Emma tick. But there's still something that bothers me about that crime. Yeah, like, why was Mr. Dark in the fucking the head prosecutor's office? Why could he just burst into the door? What was going on prior? I don't remember the moment when Dark stabbed Mr. Marshall. So you weren't able to testify about that? No, I was only asked about when I was attacked. That must be why she made up the crime. Made it up? You mean provided bogus evidence? The prosecutor's office wanted that guilty verdict so badly, Lana forged the evidence and Mr. Edgeworth used it. So what evidence was forged exactly? Like... Again, this happened in the fucking prosecutor's office. Like, what happened? But I'm sure he didn't know anything about it. He couldn't have known he was being given false evidence. I mean, he could have known. He probably didn't, but he could have. Even so, that's when it all started. The rumors about Mr. Edgeworth. I mean, it's all my fault. So everybody immediately twigged that this was false evidence then. But, like... why? Why did the evidence even need to be forged in the first place? Like... It seems like this should have all been fairly airtight that this happened. If I could have just testified properly, none of this would have happened. It just seems unimaginable, given the situation Dark ended up in, that there wasn't enough actual evidence to convict him of this. Right? Which probably means Joe didn't actually kill him, right? Because it just seems unimaginable that Joe burst into the prosecutor's office, stabbed someone to death, and then somehow left so little evidence behind they had to forge it. So it seems like he just didn't do it, right? Like, because why the fuck else would they need to forge it? It just seems so unimaginable that he just didn't leave a scrap of physical evidence. So it's true, even though he may not have known it. Edgeworth really was involved in falsifying evidence. Involved's a bit tenuous, I feel. Like, sure, literally he was involved, but like, I think saying he was involved in falsifying evidence insinuates some kind of culpability, which I doubt he actually had. After that case ended, Lana was never the same. She became cold, like she is today. She must not have been able to face up to what she did, especially not to Emma. There's something that's puzzling me, Emma. Let's see if Phoenix is puzzled by what I'm puzzled by. What is it? You said you were in Lana's office at that time, right? That's right. Why then would a serial killer come running in there? Wow. What a day. That me and Phoenix have wondered the same thing, and Phoenix isn't like, what's a fingerprint or something stupid. Not only that, but he was being chased by a prosecutor? Oh, there's no mystery there. Joe Dark had been taken in for questioning that day. Taken in for questioning? You mean by the police? Of course. This happened at the police department. Oh, not the prosecutor's office. He tried, I guess that makes more sense. I assumed it was the prosecutor's office. He tried to run away halfway through the interview and fled into my sister's office, so thereby pretty much... So he fled questioning. Like, he got up, fled questioning, hard in and of itself, murdered somebody there, and they still had to falsify evidence to convict him? My man was innocent. Dark did nothing wrong. Why Why did they need to falsify evidence? He sounds like the most incriminated man alive. But why did he run all the way to your sister's office? True, doesn't that mean he ran up instead of down? Because the detective offices in the questioning room are right across from the elevator. So he just ran into another office instead of, like, going anywhere else? Across from the elevator? But Lana was the chief prosecutor, wasn't she? No, silly, didn't I tell you? 2 years ago, Lana was a detective. Oh. She was the best in the entire force. What? That's news to me. After the Joe Dart case, she was transferred to the prosecutor's office and made chief prosecutor. That's a very sudden jump. She did quite the leap up the corporate ladder there, didn't she? So, what's the story with that? Lana used to be a detective. I'd better have another talk with her. That's quite the promotion. Not even, like, head detective or something? Like, straight from detective to chief prosecutor? Okay. That's not weird. Lana. Mr. Wright, it seems I keep causing you trouble. Falsifying evidence. I didn't think you were the type. Criminals don't mind playing foul, why should we? I mean... This is like what a 14-year-old says, I'm sorry. But Lana, if you're wrong, an innocent person might be found guilty. Believe me, I understand the risks. Lana, Emma told me about you. Oh, about how you were a detective 2 years ago. And how the SL9 incident was the reason you were transferred to the prosecutor's office. That's right. Could you fill me in on the details, especially about that unusual change of jobs? I suppose you have a right to know, Mr. Wright. It's true. I was a member of the police force 2 years ago. She was amazing. Only falsified some evidence. They still talk about the cases she and Chief Gant cracked together. Chief Gant? He was the deputy chief of police back then, but he still worked the crime scenes. Damon Gant. He was everything I aspired to be. They were the best team ever. They solved crimes before the reports could even be filed. Well, yeah. Everything in the file was false, apparently, you know. Emma really idolizes her big sister. But now you're chief prosecutor? What happened? I always planned on becoming a prosecutor. The reason I became a detective was to gain experience investigating crime scenes, so you could use the experience in court, right? I don't know that that's really all that helpful. Gant's help in the SL9 case was crucial to its resolution. Alright, that's a very sudden change in topic. After that, he became chief of police and arranged my transfer to the prosecutor's office. Maybe I should ask more about this investigation of theirs 2 years ago. A lot of revelations were uncovered at the trial today, not least of which was the fact this case is largely connected to another one 2 years ago. We do have quite the complicated case, don't we? You know, we still don't know how he got from one place to the other. Though I suspect it's something to the effect of he was in Edgeworth's trunk. Evidence from that case was stolen as well, though I expected as much. I know how obsessive Officer Marshall can be. That trial, it really wasn't fair, was it? I believed in you, Lana. I believed that no matter what happened, you'd always stick to the truth. Lana, please explain to me how you didn't have enough evidence to convict this man. When he was the most incriminated man on Earth at the time. It couldn't be helped, Emma. At that trial 2 years ago, I sold my soul. Well, all drama aside... Right, anyway, the fact of the matter is, at 5:15 there was no murder at the police department. Oh, fuck, I clicked out of the window. Tell me it's not true, Lana, what the witness, Miss Starr, said. About you stabbing Mr. Goodman with a knife. Lana, I don't understand. Why won't you tell us? Emma, this doesn't involve just me. Oh, we got a cat issue. Hey. You horrible little scrimlow, no going on the keyboard. I don't think I've ever seen Lana look so phased before. 2 years ago, I was second in command of the detectives investigating Dark. Second in command, that means the investigation lead was Damon Gant, right? Yes, Deputy Chief Gant and I shared the same office and the same investigations. They even had the same office. Why is that the thing that intrigues you about this? We led a team of the best detectives on the force. Detective Goodman, whose case it was, Jake Marshall, and Angel Starr. It was the first time Marshall worked with his brother. He was quite gung-ho, if that is his real name. Without a doubt, Joe Dark was the serial killer. He does look evil. This is undeniable. We asked him to come in for questioning. We were desperate for evidence. So it was obvious, and yet you had no evidence. Interesting. Cat, please. That was when his final murder took place. When he tried to murder Emma. Prosecutor Marshall was trying to save me from Dark. You see, the first person who happened upon the scene of the crime was me. Now you tell us. Please stop walking on the keyboard. Damon Gant and Neil Marshall were the ones questioning Dark that day. Wait. Well then why didn't Gant and Marshall enter the office together? Apparently he ran across the hallway, you know, and they didn't both go? The investigation was in its final stages and Dark must have suddenly panicked. So he waited until Gant and Marshall let their guards down, then fled the room. Thank you for confirming for me Gant was in the room at the time. From there he ran straight to the office shared by Deputy Chief Gant and myself. And apparently only Marshall chased him? Seems suspicious. That's where he found me. So you were the first person to run to the scene, Lana? It appears so. I was filing some papers while Gant and Marshall were questioning Dark. When I returned, but what the fuck's going on in this scene? When I returned to my office, I saw 3 bodies on the floor and smelled blood. So, explain to me how this arrangement happened? Because what we saw in Emma's flashback was Dark, like, standing over Marshall, brandishing a knife, and yet somehow that ended up with Marshall being stabbed in the back? In the back, and then he fell on Dark? 3 bodies? Prosecutor Marshall and the victim, Emma, who had passed out. And the suspect, Joe Dark. Dark was dead? During the struggle, it seems Mr. Marshall struck a final blow before he died. Joe Dark had incurred a minor concussion and lay unconscious. Oh. What did you do? To be honest, I panicked. I'm having trouble accepting this series of events. This sounds ridiculous on the face of it. So, Dark was being questioned, because apparently it was obvious he did it, hence why he panicked. However, there was also no evidence that it was clearly him, and despite this, he panicked, fled, didn't flee the building, just ran to an office across the road. Only one of the police officers that were questioning him chased him. Then, Dark, from a commanding position over Marshall, had to stab him in the back after suffering a concussion. And then Marshall fell on Dark. You know, something about this just doesn't seem correct. Quite a lot of it, actually. I'd estimate maybe 5% of that actually makes sense. In conclusion, everything is lies. Can't blame her, after all her sister must have gone through. After that, I placed Dark under immediate arrest. And yet somehow, you still needed to forge evidence to arrest him? Or, well, prosecute him, I guess, not necessarily arrest, but... Come on, dude! You were all involved in the SL9 incident. That's right, quite a coincidence. I don't buy it. What are you saying? There's no way everyone involved in this trial was also involved in that incident. Just by chance. But that case was solved 2 years ago. Yeah, and it sounds ridiculous if you just give a straight summary of all the facts you got told. If you just summarize the timeline as bullet points, it's ridiculous from near start to finish. At least one person who went to extremes because they didn't believe it was truly solved. Officer Marshall, yes, his actions came as a surprise to me as well. Ever since his brother died, he's changed completely. I guess he wasn't convinced with the ruling against Joe Dark. Yeah, it looks ridiculous. I wouldn't be overly convinced. Life doesn't end with the closing of a case. Everyone... What the fuck was that? Fucking cats, man. Everyone has to live the rest of their lives with their memories. That case just might not be over yet. Emma was assaulted by Dark at the police department, right? Yes, in the office that Damon and Gant and I shared. The office Gant now occupies by himself, the chief's office. Maybe we should have a look at the chief's office, the site of the final SL9 murder. Man, what a fucking ridiculous chain of events. I don't see Detective Gumshoe anywhere. Things seem kinda quiet around here today. You're right, the chief of detectives seems the same though. Why don't we go look for some other people to talk to? Right, we can come back here later. I've been tricked by this before. That must be the chief of detectives. He's staring at the screen so hard it might shatter. What? Dark case may have been fabricated. That's what I thought all along. I just never bothered to tell anyone. Oh, of course. Now there's a guy who cares about his work. I don't know, man. It sounds more like an, oh yeah, of course I knew that. Jesus Christ, what kind of idiot do you take me for? Howdy, Bambina. Oh, Mr. Marshall. I never thought things would turn out this way when I woke up this morning. Que sera, sera. You never know where life will lead you, eh, Bambina? I should have known my luck had run up when old Billy dried up this morning. Billy? Must be his pet cactus. Say, where he didn't counter it. Where are you headed? Just over to the prosecutor's office for a little interrogation. It's a voluntary appearance, but we all know I won't be coming back. Sorry, but you can't go in the evidence room today, partner. But Mr. Marshall, why did you do it? Why do prospectors head west? If ever there was a case I needed to know the truth about, it was that one. Before you turn yourself in, Mr. Marshall, would you mind telling us exactly what happened? Looks like I won't be getting a steak lunch today. Something was fishy about that trial from the beginning. It wasn't just me either. All the detectives thought so. What do you mean fishy? Some of the facts reported were inconsistent with the evidence we found. Somehow, that doesn't surprise me. Despite the fact I've seen none of the evidence in question, it just sounds like it probably wouldn't line up. For example, the murder weapon. The murder weapon? You mean that switchblade knife with the broken tip? That was Joe Dark's, alright. But in the initial autopsy report, a question was raised. A question? the blade of the knife was not a perfect match with the wound the victim sustained. What does that mean? Phoenix. Nick. Nickery. Come on. How can you be like this? It means there's a good chance that knife was not the murder weapon. However, in the report that was finally submitted, that possibility had been erased. Could the facts have been concealed with forged evidence? No. Nick, my dude, what gives you that impression? That case left behind scars on all of us. The scars that the SL9 incident left behind. I got the looks, but he got the brains. He was one of the best prosecutors around. I just made detective when it went down. It was our first case together. How old was he, your brother? He was 72 at the time. He was awarded the highest honor that very day. The highest honor? You mean the king of prosecutors. I knew it. Oh god. Fucking cats, dude. What are you looking at me like that for? That's an honor for a prosecutor. Mr. Marshall must have really been close with his brother. Yeah, you know, maybe. That day the SL9 incident took place. That wasn't the same day as... That's right. It was the day of the evidence transfer. Interesting. It was drizzling that morning, and by nightfall there was thunder. I can't believe 2 years have gone by already. I tried to steal the evidence so the case wouldn't die. Apparently someone tried to stop you. Detective Goodman was murdered and the evidence locker empty. There was something going on behind the scenes in that case. We all knew that later. Every detective involved in that investigation, save one, was taken care of. Miss Starr was fired and I was demoted and boxed away in a tiny room. What about Detective Goodman? If they did something to him too, the commissioners would get suspicious. No, they were careful enough not to be too obvious. They? Who are you talking about? Don't get upset, Bambina. I mean Damon Gant and Lana Skye. The investigation lead, Damon Gant, and his second-in-command, Lana Skye. There wasn't a person on the force who hadn't heard of that duo. That case was the biggest step in both of their careers. After the case ended, Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office, right? Yeah. Damon Gant, the new chief of police, arranged for that to happen. She's never been the same since she left. Everyone who knew her said so. Chief Prosecutor Skye was totally different when she was a detective. Now that he mentions it, Emma said something like that too. Tell me, what happened to my sister? Sorry, Bambina, but her secret is too well guarded. I never found out. Lana's secret, well, I'm gonna, you know, just a stab in the dark. Get it, guy. Anyway, just a stab in the dark here. But I'm gonna guess that's because Gant fucked with all this somehow. I don't know how or why yet. This is just my read on the guy. He fucked with it, somehow. And Lana's been getting, I don't know, blackmailed, maybe, the whole time? Unless she was in on it too? It just doesn't seem like that's the way they'd go with this. Is a meta thing. I doubt Lana would end up being a legitimate villain somehow. So, I'm guessing Gant's been, like, blackmailing her. This is just my assumption of Gant. He doesn't seem like a very nice individual, despite the attempt he tries to show. So there you have it. That's my story. Did you enjoy it, partner? It was certainly enlightening. There's one thing for sure I found out in court today. That boy Edgeworth isn't my enemy. He was the one who used falsified evidence to get a guilty verdict. But someone else was the one who gave him that evidence and planned everything. That someone is Damon Gant. Don't believe me? Well, I don't blame you. I won't even be a patrolman after today. Too bad I won't be around to work with you when you become a real scientific investigator. Adios, Bambino. Rest in peace. Hey, can we go in Gant's office yet? This place is always pretty empty, but today it's deserted, except for these same two people we always see. That must mean everyone's busy solving crimes. Oh, if you're looking for the others, they're all in the conference room. Thanks. Wow, he actually talked to us. With the chief prosecutor saying what she did and the decision about what to do, Mr. Edgeworth, not to mention our statement to the media in tomorrow's trial, there's more chaos going on than Thanksgiving and Christmas put together. I think festive is the word usually used for those. Sir, we'd like to have a look around Gant's office. Just use the connecting hallway to the other building and take the elevator to the top floor. Really? You mean it's okay for us to go in there? I mean, we aren't police officers or anything. Hey, you're right. You can't go in there. It's off limits. Emma. You know, this could have been a lot simpler if you didn't fucking say that. Now I see where Detective Gumshoe gets his unique charm. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's head to the chief's office. Okay. My man. What the fuck is that? My dude has got a fucking pipe organ in his office. So I've immediately noticed something, by the way. The King of Prosecutors trophy looks completely fucking different. It's got a different thing with it. It's got an extra peripheral here. And I'm just saying, that looks like it could do some stabbing. Whoa, where am I? In the chief's office, silly. At least that's what it said on the door. Check out that pipe organ. That's real, isn't it? Hey, I used to take organ lessons in kindergarten. They used to call me Little Miss Bach. Oh, imagine. You're in the fucking... down in the labs. Testing some fucking blood. And then suddenly, you hear this fucking pipe organ just blasting a floor above you. I could never remember where C was. Oh, it's you two! Chief Gant. He put that paper he was reading in his desk. So, righto, have you been swimming lately? No, I haven't. I've been kind of busy lately. I can appreciate that. I've had my hands full, too, with Mr. Marshall's misconduct. And Lana's provocative statement. Provocative statement. Oh, you mean about the forged evidence? 2 years have passed since that incident. My, how time flies. See that big picture on the wall over there? Hey, there's the pop. That's a picture of Lana, Neil, and me. So this, just, is a little stabby doodad here. So this is Mr. Marshall's brother, Prosecutor Neil Marshall. We took it to commemorate our work together. Something's not right with this picture. Yes, it's foreboding in multiple ways. Oh wait, no, hold on. There's something even stabbier in this picture right there. It's this boy over here. Anyway, I'd like to reminisce all day, but there are matters that need my attention. I'm going to lock up here, so let's go out together. This, knife, this spear man over here, I find this also to be suspicious. But this office, it was a crime scene 2 years ago, wasn't it? That case has long since been over. There's no need to investigate it anymore. All the same, we'd still like to have a look around. Perhaps you didn't hear me. I said there's no need to investigate it anymore. Now hurry up and get out. I have a meeting to attend. Looks like we aren't welcome. It seems that case isn't over yet after all. What do you mean? Chief Gant denied our request to search the crime scene. That means there must be a reason he doesn't want us to go looking around in there. Now, while I'm sure that is true, if we're looking at the situation realistically, it is entirely reasonable that the chief of police did not give us permission to search his office because of a crime that happened 2 years ago and was officially solved. He obviously is hiding something, but also he's well within our rights to tell us to fuck off in that situation. You mean like a clue? There's got to be a way we can get inside the chief's office. Parking lot? No one's here today, not even Miss Starr. Everyone's probably busy looking into exactly what went down in the evidence room. That must be where the detectives are. But we proved in court today that on the day of the crime, no one was murdered in the evidence room at 5:15. Yeah, but like some other shit happened in there. Yeah, I thought we were finally making some headway in our case, but instead it looked like we just ended up making Lana look even more guilty. This tends to happen. It's usually the case where we're trying to defend someone, and at some point during the trial we make them look more guilty for a little bit. I've got to find all the answers by tomorrow. Mr. Edgeworth isn't here. Maybe he's being questioned by the inquiry committee. He took a real beating in court today. Yeah, with Atlanta admitting to falsifying evidence 2 years ago. I guess we'll just have to come back later. Right, we're making excellent progress. Hey, pal. Detective Gumshoe. Aren't you supposed to be in a cat? Hello, please stop. Stop standing on the fucking keyboard. You all have not done this all fucking day, and now you decide there's nowhere better to be than the fucking keyboard. From sitting so long? Actually, from serving everyone coffee. Sounds like Detective Gumshoe's still out of the loop. Say, have either of you seen Mr. Edgeworth? Edgeworth? No, why do you ask? He's under fire from both the police department and the prosecutor's office. It's almost like the battles between you two in court. That sounds serious. Is it because of what my sister said? That's basically what it all boils down to. That falsified evidence 2 years ago. Now Mr. Edgeworth has the whole world after his blood. Yikes. But why would Edgeworth be blamed? It's not like he knew the evidence was forged. I mean... Sure. But he did present it, so it does seem reasonable he'd be investigated. Lana Skye is the guilty party here, isn't she? Regardless, a prosecutor is responsible for the evidence they present in court, exactly. Not only that, but as you know, there have been a lot of rumors going around about Mr. Edgeworth. His amazing talent as a prosecutor kept him safe from all those who didn't like him. But now with this, are there really so many people who hate him? In our world, only those with talent rise to the top. Mr. Edgeworth not only has that, but he's young. There's no better recipe I know of for making enemies. Hey, Dick, keep up the good work. Yes, sir. Let's go out for lunch again sometime. My treat. Yes, sir. You gotta take me back to that joint sometime, okay, Dick? Yes, sir. It seems you don't have any problems with enemies. Yeah, well, I'm careful not to stick out. Anyway, I'm a bit worried about him. Under all this pressure, I'm afraid Mr. Edgeworth just might crack. Actually, I took a look at the file earlier while the coffee was brewing. He seems genuinely concerned for Edgeworth. Well, did you find anything? The only evidence Dark left behind was during his final attack. His final attack? You mean when he killed Prosecutor Marshall who was trying to protect some girl? Me. Seems Detective Gumshoe never realized Emma was the girl. That's what he left the most incriminating evidence of all. Well, what was it? Oh, let's see. I think it had something to do with a murder weapon. Oh, I forgot. Look, it's all written somewhere in here, okay? His power of recollection never fails to impress. Maybe we should show him the murder weapon. It might jog his memory. Nope, not that one. About this. Hey, is that? It has a tag attached to it with the label SL9 incident. I believe this would be the broken murder weapon you were speaking of. What are you doing with that? Ever since that case was closed, that knife's been locked away in a locker. On the day Detective Goodman was murdered, this suddenly disappeared from the locker and was found in Mr. Edgeworth's car muffler. That's it. Now I remember what that incriminating piece of evidence was. When you showed me that knife, it all came back to me. Well, what is it, Detective? Quick, before you forget again. This knife, it was Joe Dark's, wasn't it? That's right. We traced it back to the store he bought it at. Plus, it had his fingerprints on it, too. But no one actually witnessed him using it to murder anyone, right? That's where his luck ran out. When you take a good look at the knife, you'll see it's broken. You don't even have to take a good look to notice that. Well, anyway, take a guess where the broken off tip of the knife was found. That's what did him in. Where was it? The victim, Neil Marshall, was carrying it inside his own body. That's a chill way of saying he was stabbed to death, isn't it? It was found deep inside the stab wound. Did it match Dark's knife? You bet, down to the last fiber. That's pretty conclusive. So what was the forged evidence then? Stabbed in the back, died from a punctured heart and lung. What? Those are not in the same part of the body. You're telling me a switchblade stabbed both of those organs? I don't know. Joe Dark was 42 at the time of the crime. He was just your run-of-the-mill businessman. A businessman? What made him take to serial killing? I mean, being a businessman doesn't... You say that like it has some kind of aspect that stops people turning into serial killers. One day on his home from work, he hit someone with his car. With his car? So it was an accident? An accident, yes, but it transformed him into an animal. An animal? He killed a man that witnessed the incident. Then he killed a lady who saw the second crime. A kid walked by, so he killed him too. What? Then when he was burying the bodies, a jogger came, and he killed him as well. Finally, he turned himself in. Fucking excuse me? What kind of Looney Tune shit is that? Ah, fuck. I hit this dude with a car. Oh, fuck, someone's seen. Well, I gotta kill him, obviously. Oh, fuck, someone saw me killing that guy after I killed that guy who saw me kill that other guy. Ah, god damn it. Someone came in while I was burying the body, so obviously I had to kill them. What the fuck? And there was no evidence. And he turned himself in. This is a very sensible murder. This all seems perfectly fine. I can see why this case was an ironclad, locked up tight. Seems like he was a pretty careless animal. I mean, of course this is all conjecture. What the fuck do you mean? That's such a ridiculous thing to say if it's conjecture. There wasn't a single shred of evidence, then how do you... What the fuck, dude? So he turned himself in. Then how did he say that? Did he confess? Yes, but in the middle of his questioning, he fled and murdered his final victim. Why? What are you talking about? Prosecutor Marshall. That crime was witnessed by someone too. You're lucky, Emma. This guy's got a bit of a knack for murdering witnesses. Luckily, Dark was arrested on the spot. It's a good thing that last witness wasn't killed. Holy shit, dude. Why did you come to the conclusion that's what he did if there wasn't a shred of evidence? That's a ridiculous chain of events to assume. That's all I know. And then he turned himself in, indicating that, nobody even noticed. All of these people vanish. What is it? If it's money you need, you should ask Chief Gant. It's not money, but it does concern the Chief. His office is a crime scene, right? It's where Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered. The Chief's out now and his office is locked, but we'd like to have a look around if that's okay. Well, letting detective's ID card can unlock the door. That seems like a bit of a security risk. What? Really? What if I let a civilian in there? I'd be charged with breach of trust. Breach of trust. Simply put, I'd be canned. Oh. Sorry, pal. I don't plan on getting fired because of you. How about this ID card? It was Goodman's. That won't work either. The data was deleted the day he died. So in other words, Gumshoe was our only chance of getting into the office. I wonder if there's something we could show him that would make him change his mind. What could possibly do that? It's not gonna be the fire. This? It's not gonna be the things he no, I didn't want to do that. It's not gonna be the things he showed us, is it? The pot? About that jar. I think I've seen it somewhere before. Somewhere. Or maybe it was one of those memories people have from previous lives. This must be the most uninformative detective I've ever met. Something about it makes me feel uneasy. It's like I'm in the Chief's office and he's yelling at me. Chief Gant? Where could I have seen that before? Okay. Hey, that's it. That's the King of Prosecutors award that Edgeworth got the other day. Were you at the ceremony, detective? Of course, pal. I got an award for diligence myself. Ah, congratulations. I was wondering, why is the award a shield? And why is it broken? Oh, there's a reason. I'll tell you about it later. Apparently he's forgotten. Oh, lost item report, huh? Very impressive, detective. You knew what it was right off the bat. Well, I am a master of misplacement, you know. Master. That has such a cool ring to it. The way I see it, if things are meant to be lost, then they're meant to be lost. There's a higher power at work here. Wow, a higher power. Maybe I shouldn't let Emma hold any evidence. Well, we're making good progress, I feel. Maybe Edgeworth's back? Ah, fuck. I do hate having to, like, traverse areas. I wonder if Edgeworth's back yet. There he is. It looks like he's writing something. What? What are you doing here? He sure was quick to throw that paper on the floor. Tough day in court, huh? I've had to live with the past 2 years with rumors flying around. What's another allegation to me? Cheer up, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm rooting for you. That's Edgeworth for you, always trying to hide his real feelings. So what do you want? Unlike some people, I don't have all day. There's no excuse for what I've done. 2 years ago, I used false evidence to obtain a guilty verdict. That's what it all breaks down to, and nothing I do can erase that fact. But you didn't know, did you? I mean that the evidence was falsified. The police department and the prosecutor's office share a bond of trust. If that bond is broken, we stand to lose everything. The police department's error is my error. My responsibility as the prosecutor in charge. That fact remains the same no matter what excuses I might have. Mr. Edgeworth, I take pride in my work. So tell me why. Why has it all come to this? Even Edgeworth can't keep up this kind of emotion bottled up. Are you up for the trial tomorrow? First last year's trial and now this one. It seems all you do is worry about me. To be honest, you're getting on my nerves. But Mr. Edgeworth, you can't just walk out on the trial. Tomorrow is the last day. It's too late to change it's too late to change prosecutors. I'll bet that's what my superiors are banking on. I never thought that case would come back to haunt me like this. What do you mean? The list of evidence. It seems too short. Most lists run twice as long. It's only half as long as most lists. That's odd. After Neil Marshall was murdered, I became prosecutor for that case. I may not have been part of the investigation, but I knew what I had to do, use the evidence I was given to prove the suspect guilty. That was really the only thing on my mind at the time. Say, we just saw a picture taken around that time. That picture, something seems strange about it. Could you tell us again about what happened that day? The day Detective Goodman was murdered. You were participating in a ceremony over at the station, right? I've never cared for ceremonies, but I had to attend that one. Because you were awarded this? Those receiving awards can't exactly skip out on the ceremony. I finished up at the office in the morning, then drove over to the police department. You finished up at the office? Yes, just odds and ends, clerical stuff. I didn't plan on returning to the office that day. That is until I was asked to take something back. Take something back? This. Oh yeah, Chief Gant asked you to hold on to that, didn't he? Yes, it was a piece of evidence in a case that was closed half a year ago. He asked me to bring it back to the prosecutor's office. That's the story we heard yesterday. So you came here to the prosecutor's office because the chief asked you to. That's right. Yeah, it's a little suspicious, isn't it, given that Gant is almost certainly the actual murderer. Photo. This picture was hanging on the wall in Chief Gant's office. Prosecutor Neil Marshall, he had just started making a name for himself. Looks like this was taken when he received the King of Prosecutors trophy. Speaking of that, there's something that bothers me. Yes. The trophy Mr. Marshall is holding. It's a little different than yours. Yes, you're right. Ah, I remember now. Remember what? That was what the official prosecutor's trophy looked like until 2 years ago. There's a story behind its design. A story? Sounds interesting. Would you mind telling it to us? It's simple, really. Contradiction. That's what the award's based on. Yes, I know this story. That award originates from an ancient Chinese tale. In Chinese, the word contradiction is written with 2 characters. The first means halberd and the second means shield. Have you heard this story? Me? Oh, sure, everyone knows that. Why didn't you tell it, though? For Emma's sake. Very well. Long ago in the kingdom of Chu, there was an arms merchant. One day he presented the king with 2 items. The first was a halberd he claimed could slice through any shield or armor. The second was a shield he claimed could withstand any weapon. Wait a minute. Those claims contradict each other. Very perceptive. But then again, you've heard this story before, right? Anyway, as you mentioned, the very descriptions of these items can't discredit them both. When the king pointed this out, the merchant was left speechless. Thus, the Chinese word for contradiction was born. Oh, I see. So the chipped shield and the broken knife symbolize... Precisely so. They symbolize the merchant's items. The ancient tale ends with the merchant at a loss for words, but it's in our nature to pursue matters to their conclusion, even if it results in something as ugly as this. Wow, thanks, Mr. Edgeworth. I learned something new today. That's funny. If that's so, then why were you only given a shield? You'll have to ask Chief Gant. 2 years ago, he had the halberd part of the award abolished. Chief Gant. How strange. Anyway, about this piece of paper. You don't mind if I just, be a filthy little trash goblin for a second, do you? Come on, Mr. Wright, let's take a look. Are you crazy? Edgeworth's sitting right there. Just distract him, I'll check it out. Hey, Edgeworth. Is that Detective Gumshoe out the window there? Oh no, he's falling to the ground! Oh, it's such a tragedy! Hold on. First, let me see what this girl's doing crawling around my feet. He didn't even look. Well, letter of If you're having trouble reading it, I'll read it for you. It says letter of resignation. Resignation? Edgeworth, you don't mean... I'm tired, Wright. I feel as if something inside me has died. But Mr. Edgeworth, none of it is your fault. I know the path I've walked. You don't need to tell me. And the path I've walked hasn't been a just one. I can't forgive myself for what I've done. And no one else should forgive me either. Uh-oh, I think he's serious. Mr. Wright, please, you have to do something. I wonder if I can use it for anything. Yes, indeed, quite so. Nothing else to say. Hey, Gumshoe, my dude. Oh. Excuse me. Would either of you care for a quarter-pound roast beef? Yeah, Miss Starr, I guess she's out of lunches. You certainly are the curious sort, aren't you? Kind of like the first person who sucked a cow's nipple to discover milk. I see. Yes, right. Still, I never thought you'd go digging up that case from 2 years ago. Everyone in this trial was involved in the SL9 incident. Not only that, but the murder occurred on the very day the evidence from that case was due for transferal. This can't all be attributed to a mere coincidence. Aren't you forgetting something? You know that little scene I happened to witness? The instant Lana stabbed Goodman. No matter how much of the past you dig up, it won't change what I saw. Roast beef is meant to be savored when eaten. Miss Starr's hatred towards Lana. It all dates back to 2 years ago. Joe Dark. That's a name I'll not soon forget. We trailed him for half a year. Oh, the pressure. Still, I don't think I was ever more alive than I was then. Those days were steamier than a bowl of hot gravy. Poor old Jake Marshall, though. Must have been going through hell. You mean because of his brother's death? They were close, those two. After Neil died, something took over Jake. He became obsessed. Seeing Jake like that made her all the more desperate. Her. Lana Skye. My sister. The best of the best were on that SL9 case. Of course, they were led by that legendary duo. Lana and Chief Gant. That legendary pair was the reason we were able to keep up our investigation. That's why we were so shocked over how it turned out. You mean with the forging of the evidence? Don't get me wrong, Joe Dark got what he deserved. Still, it was obvious the evidence produced in court was being manipulated. Items our team never found would suddenly appear, while other items were kept secret. But you don't have proof anything illegal was done. I'm proof enough of what happened. Uh-huh. After that case, all of us, save Goodman, were relieved of our duties. Most without even as much as an explanation. Then Lana Skye transferred to the prosecutor's office and became chief prosecutor. Lana's always wanted to be a prosecutor. Nothing's quite as simple as it appears. Lana Skye was merely being used as a pawn. That's my take on the matter. She was being used, yeah. Damon Gant and Lana Skye. Gant led the investigation, with Lana second in command. They were the best. They solved all kinds of cases together, didn't they? Damon Gant's magnetism in particular was almost unreal. His magnetism? By that I mean his ability to attract evidence. He'd produced the most incredible evidence in the cases he handled. Oh yes, there were rumors about him even back then. No one dared confront him, though. I take it she's talking about forged evidence. Back then, everyone looked up to Lana. All the detectives wanted to be like her. Really? Oh yes. Myself included. I was a fool, really. She hated everything crooked, and always watched... She hated anything crooked and always watched out for the other detectives. That's why she was so concerned for Jake. Mr. Marshall. When Jake's brother was murdered, she felt as if she'd lost her own brother. If it wasn't for her, I don't think Jake would ever recover from his shock. That's what makes it all the more infuriating. Miss Starr. That's why I'll never be able to forgive her. Why did she have to turn so cold after that? Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office 2 years ago, didn't she? Yes, thanks to Chief Gant's powerful influence. Chief. That's right. Having solved the SL9 case, his position as chief was secured. There was only one thing left for him to control, and then no one could stand in his way. The prosecutor's office. What? You mean that's why Lana was transferred? If he could control the chief prosecutor, he could control the prosecutor's office. That must have been his goal all along. But how could he control Lana? I don't know, but one thing's for sure. Ever since that case ended, she's never been the same. It's only logical to conclude there must have been a reason for her change. At last, I'm finally getting close to the bottom of this ugly mess. Thank you, Miss Starr. You listen to me, rookie. It takes more than just ingredients to create fine cuisine. I hope you turn out to be a better chef than whatever. I'm illiterate, it's okay, you know. Can y'all stop walking on the fucking keyboard? Oh, you're back. You're still here? I gotta make 150 copies of these files. Brewing coffee, copying files. I'm turning into a regular DJ. What? Oh, fucking hell, cat. God damn it. Can you stop? Stop. Ah! So, having a situation. This one, there we go. I gotta admire your persistency, but my answer's still no. Where's that gone? There it is. I'm not letting you in the chief's office, period. It'd be my neck on the line. That office is the last crime scene of the SL9 incident. I have to take a look in there. There's gotta be something we can do to make the detective change his mind. You're damn right. It's this bad boy. What's this crumpled up piece of paper? No way. Mr. Edgeworth can't be serious. Is he ever not serious? I can't believe they pushed him this far. Mr. Edgeworth really feels responsible. When I first met him, I thought he was cold as ice too, but I know different now. He trusted us detectives to provide him with sound evidence, but we betrayed him. Detective. That's it, I've made up my mind. But, here, take my ID card. We can't do that. If someone found out, they wouldn't let you off the hook with another lost item report. Look at me. It's no secret I'm already out of the loop. After all, I'm friends with Mr. Edgeworth. Depending on how this case turns out, I may already be as good as terminated. What? So at least let me do this, for Edgeworth's sake. Alright, detective. Thank you. Big ups to my man, Gumshoe, being the only reason we're gonna get an opportunity to solve the case. Despite the fact he could easily lose his job and he's already got no money, I can relate. Here goes, Mr. Wright. Remember to stay hydrated. We're in. If anyone finds us now, Detective Gumshoe's a goner. If that happens, I'm counting on you to bail me out. Eek, ga. Sorry, I thought you were a ghost. I didn't even know you could slap a ghost. Ah! Detective Gumshoe. What are you doing sneaking up on us like that? I wasn't seeking, I was just worried something might go wrong. So I came too. If you're here, then what's the point in giving us your ID card? Hey, don't do that to my card. I hardly ever get a chance to come in here, so I figured I'd have a look around myself. I mean, it was weird that you weren't coming with us. Besides, we're all in this together now. You really do want it to get fired, don't you? Not if we're lucky. Now let's see what we can find. I've got a bad feeling about this. Safe. This is a safe, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, it is. Safe. That word is ripe with intrigue. Okay, if you say so. Looks like it needs a code to be entered into the panel. 7777. Do you know what it is? I have a hunch. Oh, I know. You want to try my birth date, is it? It's... Oh. Oh, shit. I have a better idea. Here goes. I'm a fucking genius. Which also means we've determined who 77777 was. Whose birthday was that, pal? 7777. The final ID card number on that record. What? The number of the mysterious executive officer who entered the room that day. You mean 77777? That ID number? I think you're 1 7 shy this time. This could only mean one thing. That's Chief Gant's ID number. Say, anyone care to look inside? Is there any money in there? How much does he have stashed anyway? Look, it's hey. That looks a lot like an E and an A. A shard from a broken cup. This looks familiar. Where have I seen this before? There's something else here, too. What's this? It looks like a piece of leather cloth? Well, that's a nicely preserved handprint, isn't it? This is a handprint, isn't it? Hey, I saw someone wearing a shirt like that once. You think the chief made up that design? I don't think so. Oh, well, that was just a thought. Is that it? This is all that was in the safe? Apparently so. It's empty now. A piece of cloth and a hand with a handprint on it, and a broken shard from a cup. They look like pieces of evidence. Yeah, but unless you can prove they have something to do with this case, I'm afraid I can't just let you take them. After all, it's my neck on the line here. This is your problem? Great, now I have to prove their relevancy to get them. How are these two items related to the SL9 incident? Well, come on. There's gotta be something we can show to the detective. Yeah, you know, like the fucking pot, maybe? Detective Gumshoe, could you have another look at this jar? I remember when the three of us put that back together. Those were the days. It's kind of early to be nostalgic. Wasn't this jar a piece of evidence from that case? That's right, one of the shards had an SL9 incident sticker on it. Doesn't this ring any bells? You know, that fragment we just found? You mean this one that was in the safe? Yeah, that one. That was in the safe. Now that you mention it, it's ringing a lot of bells. Let's see if it fits. Here, let me see that shard. I'll have a crack at this. Go ahead, pal. Show us what a rookie can do. Mr. Wright, here's some glue. If I can piece this together again, it'll prove Chief Gant was knowingly hiding evidence. Here goes. Yeah. Rotate. This looks less clear suddenly. Is that really what that looked like a second ago? I was sure I could see an E and an A on it. Fits like a charm. That, of course, means Chief Gant knowingly hid a piece of this jar in the safe. In other words, he concealed a piece of evidence from the SL9 incident. But, hey guys, get a load of this. What is it? This piece you just attached. It's different from the others. There's a reddish line on it. A reddish line. That's blood. I don't get it. Why would Chief Gant hide this in his safe? I mean... that bit looks like an A still, just without the bit in the middle. I don't know, man. So... can we dust this bad boy? No, didn't mean to go back. Can we dust that bad boy? Detective Gumshoe, I'd like you to have a look at this. Hey, I know what that is. So you want to take some fingerprints? That's a great idea, Detective. Alright, go to town. Sheesh. What are you doing? Why are you sticking out your hand like that? Go ahead, take my fingerprints. Not what I had in mind. That's not your fingerprints we want to take? Huh? Come on, this isn't the time for jokes. We're talking about that cloth we found in the safe. Oh, I do that. The one with the handprint on it, right? Sheesh, there's your sense of humor. Let's check for prints. Sprinkle the powder on the cloth. And once they're absorbed, blow away. What are you, my mom? I don't have to be told a million times. Here we go. Sprinkle that bad boy. Looking good, looking good. That doesn't look very good. I gave it my best shot. That kind of result won't be any good for matching prints. Doesn't look like we'll get a clearer result from this print. Let's try a different finger then. Alrighty. Here we go. Looking good, looking good. Not ideal. I gave it my best shot. Watch it be the fucking pinky finger. This is so laborious. Fucking DS games, dude. Oh, now that's what I'm talking about. Alright, Gant. Alright. I don't know why I clicked on this. This clearly doesn't match. Alright. No. Yeah. Alright, I wasn't really expecting this to keep going. The one that happened right here. Okay, I wasn't really expecting it to go. Not him. Not him. Not him. No. This appears to be Emma's fingerprint. This is not who I expected to be the owner of this fingerprint. No. How can this be? What are Emma's fingerprints doing here? Hey, you found a match? Whose fingerprints were they? Huh? Oh, it seems the prints are too old. They aren't clear enough to get a match. Oh, that's too bad. I thought they'd be Dark's prints. Psst. Hey, you. Over here. What's going on here? What are that kid's prints doing inside the chief's safe? Don't ask me. Let's just keep this information from Emma for now. Here, maybe you should hold on to this. That desk on the other side of the room, was that your sister's? Yes, that's where I was waiting for Lana, on that day 2 years ago. Is anyone using it now? No, sir. This is entirely Chief Gant's office now. He practices a strict policy of preserving the crime scene. That's a strange reason to leave it here. He leaves it as a warning to everyone else. He wants us to always be alert. What the fuck does that mean? He told us so himself at our New Year's party. Of course, he was pretty intoxicated at the time. I see. No one ever since Lana left, no one else has ever touches that desk. No one except Chief Gant and the cleaning lady who's in here each morning. Still, 2 years have passed since that incident. There can't possibly be any clues remaining. Can I ask you something? Sure. You only came here to look around, right? Because it's one of the SL9 crime scenes? I mean, that's your only reason for coming here, isn't it? Why do you ask? You don't think... Nah, you wouldn't be. No. No, there's no way. Never mind. Don't worry about it. Okay, now then, let's look around a bit more. Hey, hold on. Not so fast, buddy. Oh, what is it? When someone tells you don't worry about it, it means it's supposed to start bothering you, pal. You don't just let it go at that. Sorry. This guy's starting to get on my nerves. Okay, what's bothering you? You two don't think Chief Gant might be a suspect, do you? What? He's right, Mr. Wright. What do we think of him? He's sus as fuck. Chief Gant, so it's finally come to this. What do I think of him? Perhaps it's best I don't divulge my feelings. Yet. There you go, ignoring me again. This boy. This is the real deal, isn't it? This armor and these weapons. Sure is, pal. The chief doesn't care for imitations. First the pipe organ, now this armor. Do you know how many taxpayer dollars must have gone into this room? What? You mean we're paying for this? You aren't, but... That's it, I'm not paying 1 cent of my taxes. I mean... I guess that's your choice to make. You don't have to pay any taxes. Yet. Be careful what you say. Who knows, the chief might be hiding in this armor as we speak. I don't think he'd fit in there. Even if he did, he'd never be able to get back out. Cut it out, you guys don't know how scary that guy can be. Slide. Well, I guess I should check the desk, right? Oh no, he said he saw him put something in the desk. Look at the size of Chief Gant's desk. Speaking of, when we were here earlier. Oh, yeah. I wonder what he was reading. This looks like a list of evidence. A list of evidence? In most cases, the list runs twice as long as this stuff. Wow! Hey, whoa, is that so? That's awfully coincidental. Why the fuck was he reading that earlier today? Hey, look at the case name. Huh? SL9 incident? I wonder what this is doing here. Why was he reading this? Why was he doing that? Hold on, Detective. What did you just say? I said I wonder... No. About evidence lists, normally they're twice as long. That's right, I guess there wasn't a lot of evidence. A half-sized list of evidence. Gee, wow. What would the other half of the list be doing here? I knew it. The chief must be hiding something about that case. Looks like I was supposed to examine the desk first. Can I read the list, though? Like... fuck. What the fuck? I was so flummoxed when it wouldn't let me look at this side. What the fuck is this? I wonder what this is. It looks like someone drew some kind of sketch here. So Emma drew this, right? This is the scene Emma said she saw. What is it? Did you find something? Can't make it out. Can't make it. I better keep quiet about it for now? Huh? Oh no, it's nothing. Why are your eyes moving about like that, Mr. Wright? Better not forget about this picture. Yeah, so this... No, I didn't want to look at it again, fuck. I mean, that just like it has to be the thing Emma saw, right? Was I any help? Of course. Thanks to your ID card, we were able to get some hard evidence. Well, that's not very kind, is it? In other words, if it wasn't for his ID card, he would have been useless. Isn't that right? You in the coat. Eek. Chief Gann. We didn't think you'd be back so soon. Fortunately, I'm a man who believes in signs. As I was walking to my meeting, I happened to look out a window and saw a stray dog run right into a pole. Just then, I thought of a certain detective. Do you mean me, sir? Now then, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you all to leave. We get to keep the evidence, right? You're not going to take that from us. Yes, sir, sorry. Oh, you in the coat. Me, sir? Drop off your ID card on the way out. You won't be needing it anymore. But, sir... Now get out. Yes, sir. We'll be on our way too, then. Wait, you. The one without the spiky hair. Don't go just yet. Me, sir? I'd like a word with you. But, sir, you with the spiky hair. You're free to go. Mr. Wright. He let us keep the evidence? He didn't take the evidence from us? Why the fuck would he let us leave with the evidence? He's obviously the murderer. Why would he let us leave with the evidence? Von Karma didn't let us leave with the evidence. Pour one out for Gumshoe, our real homie. The only reason that we're gonna solve this case. And he took the ultimate sacrifice for us. I'll always remember him. Look, pal, it's like I can almost hear his name. If I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. The chief's office is off limits. But no, you just had to go sneak it in there like that, didn't you? I thought you said you didn't care anymore if you were fired. Yeah, but if I knew it'd be like this, I never would have said it. Now that I've seen the evidence Gant was hiding, I think I'm finally starting to get the picture. But why is she kept eerily silent about it this time? Anyway, are you listening to me? I'm gonna try to smooth things over with the chief again. Later, pal. I don't think that's going to work. After that, I heard from Emma. She said the police wanted to ask her some questions, so she'll be busy for the rest of the day. I see. So the chief asked Emma to come in for questioning. It's no use thinking about it. Tomorrow's the final day in court. I'm committed to doing everything I can to defend you, which is why I'm here. But I've already told you all I can. What you've told me over these past couple days is absolutely nothing. Not a single useful thing. Really? I believe I did mention something quite important. Something I told you right at the beginning. I said that I was the one who stabbed Detective Goodman. You know, I think I'm finally figured it out. I know who it is that's lurking behind your words. Mia did a good job mentoring you. I'm rather jealous. It seems Edgeworth was right. Edgeworth? Once you're convinced you know something, no one can persuade you otherwise. Thick-headed is the term he used, I believe. Now's my chance to get her to tell me the rest of the story. I have to admit, I was more than a little perplexed at the time. You insisted you did it, yet there was no incriminating evidence. That's when it hit me. It's not that you're unwilling to tell the truth. It's that you're incapable of doing so because of a certain individual. What an intriguing notion. A certain individual, you say. So you think I'm protecting this person? Protecting? No, I don't. No, I think afraid of is more like it. If I'm not mistaken, the person in question may have persuaded you to silence. For argument's sake, Mr. Wright, who, may I ask, is this person you're speaking of? Gee, what a mystery, huh? Well, Miss Skye. Mr. Wright, you are addressing the Chief Prosecutor. Do not forget your place. I take it she's still not ready to spill the beans. My apologies. Could you please tell me a bit more about what you think you know? We were partners until 2 years ago. I respected him as a detective. Assuming he is respectable, then tell me something. Why would he try to hide his crimes? His crimes? Both you and Edgeworth will be brought before a board of inquiry for what you did. Specifically hiding and forging evidence. Of course, these are serious offenses. Why is it, though, that Chief Gant's name was never mentioned? Chief Gant? Edgeworth didn't know the truth behind the forgery. The only party who could have possibly tampered with the evidence was me. I had access because I was in the second of command of that investigation. Yes, you, but also one other, Damon Gant. If you intend to accuse Chief Gant, you'll need more than just words. Show me proof Chief Gant falsified evidence. Well, which one of these many things do you want? Like, there's a few things I could show here. I guess we'll just do the jar. I just found this in a safe in the chief's office. This jar piece and this piece of cloth. Do you know what these are? They're pieces of evidence from the SL9 incident. The person concealing evidence was none other than Chief Gant himself. Now tell me, why are you taking all the blame for him? Touché, Mr. Wright. It's as you surmised. I cannot disobey the Chief's orders, even if it means being found guilty for murder. Why not? Come now, Mr. Wright, you can't possibly expect me to tell you that. 3 days ago, I had no choice but to cooperate in the murder of Detective Goodman. Or perhaps I should say, follow orders. Yes, that's more accurate than cooperate. Although I can't tell you the details, I can say I was given an order that day. I need you to dispose of Bruce Goodman's body. You'll find it inside the trunk of Miles Edgeworth's car. I'm a genius. Fucking knew it. Fucking knew he had to be in Edgeworth's trunk. Just as I suspected. Despite what everyone believes, you were not the one who murdered Detective Goodman. Correct. I was trying to take the body out of Edgeworth's car. The trunk's lock was broken, and I discovered that murder weapon while inspecting the body. The murder weapon? You mean Edgeworth's knife? No. When I found the body, this was the knife stuck in it. The knife from the SL9 incident. I couldn't just leave that knife in him, so I took it out and stabbed him with another knife. I'm a fucking genius. That would be Edgeworth's knife. That's right. Then that's why Starr saw her stabbing Goodman. I'm a fucking genius. Even though he was already dead, my hands were shaking at the thought of stabbing him. That's why I ended up cutting my hand. And that's the reason for the bandage on your right hand. Yes, it seems that I got blood on the victim's shoes as well. And then she saw me just as I plunged the knife in. But, like, why is this the position they choose to show for this? Whatever. Just because it looks more incriminating earlier, I guess. Why did you need to hide Dark's knife so badly? It took a lot of work to finally close the Dark case 2 years ago. It was over with. I didn't ever want it to be opened again. My intent was to prevent that by whatever means possible, so you hid Dark's knife. The weapon used to stab the detective was evidence in the Dark case. If word got out, which it would, the reporters would have a field day with that. So you wrapped the knife in your scarf and hid it, in Edgeworth's exhaust pipe. Right, then I called my sister. To tell her what happened, and to ask her to hide the knife that was inside my muffler. You asked Emma? I didn't want anyone on the force to know about this. That would explain why Emma is so confident about Lana's innocence. Speaking of phone calls, I had a bad feeling about one of them that day. A bad feeling? The truth is, after I received those orders from Chief Gant, the first thing I did was make a phone call. A phone call to Patrolman Jake Marshall. To Marshall? Why on earth would you call him? The lead investigator for the SL9 incident had been murdered. I wanted that fact to be kept hidden and I needed help. He was the only other person I could trust. Or at least I thought I could trust him at the time. However, it seems that after I spoke to him, he went off on an escapade of his own. Oh, you mean... Not wanting the case to die, he decided to take things into his own hands. He disguised... Yeah. He had already stolen the ID card, but it seems he still hadn't made up his mind to break into the evidence room. After my phone call, any remaining doubt he had must have disappeared. So your phone call caused the incident in the evidence room. I'm afraid that's all I can tell you. But Lana, you've earned my respect, Mr. Wright, both as a defense attorney and an investigator. Now please, don't pursue this any further in court tomorrow. Tomorrow's trial. There's only one way to drive off Lana's demons. I've got to get to the bottom of everything. Detective Goodman's real murderer. And what went down in the chief's office 2 years ago. Oh, Jesus Christ. What an ordeal that was. Rest in peace, Gumshoe. We won't forget you.